Okay guys, today we're going to do some canning, and I'm going to can some beans in my Presto Precise digital pressure canner. And there is a cheat sheet that comes with this, but I've done this a few times so I know how to do it. First thing you want to do is when you plug it in, it comes up and pressure can is flashing. You're going to push the button there, and then you're going to adjust it to the time that you need for what you're going to can. I need 75 minutes because I'm going to be canning beans today. And then I've got my jars all clean, I've got my beans rinsed, and I'm going to put the additives in my jars that I want. And what we like in ours is about half a teaspoon of some chicken bouillon, because that'll go into our beans and taste really good once they're all canned. So I'm just adding that in real quickly. Maybe a little more in a jar here and there, but about half a teaspoon works perfectly for us. Then I can set that aside. The other thing I'm going to put in my jars is a little bit of Enchilada Seasoning. Now this is Fiesta brand and we buy it from Amazon. Makes for great refried beans whenever it comes out. I just want to pop the lid off there without making a mess all over my kitchen. And my spoon actually says tad as the measurement. And that's what I want, is a tad. And I just put that in each jar. I don't put salt in here. I figure the chicken bouillon has enough salt in it. But this adds just enough flavor when I pull the beans out to make refried beans. And I'm pretty happy with it. We like the taste. Okay. Put the lid on that, set it out of the way. I've already pre-rinsed my beans, as you can see. I pulled out anything that looked like a rock or a broken bean. And I need my funnel, which I had about 2 seconds ago, of course. Well, we're going to put about a half of a cup in each one. Sorry if it's a little loud. And I'm using a 1 cup measure, so I'm only filling it up halfway. You know how that goes. Use what you got in your hand. Doesn't look like the jars are very full. But the reason for that is that your beans are going to expand as you go. And I measured this out at 4 cups. So I'm just going to distribute that 4 cups among all the jars. And the floor. Still got a few. I'm going to add it to one of these jars. Okay. And that's the hard part done. Now, we have super hot water here. And I trust our water. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to fill my jars up with hot water. It's basically boiling. And what you're looking for is for it to be just underneath that ring, because you need a 1-inch headspace. And you need room for your jars to expand. Some of these jars have been used, but all my rings are new. I mean, all my lids are new. My rings aren't necessarily new. And because I put my spices in first, it automatically mixes it throughout my jar in my water. And you notice I'm being really careful about not getting my hand underneath that water. And that's because that water is hot. Alright, and I'm not going to wipe the tops of my jars off. All that's on them is water here. There's no spice, or the beans don't stick. I have had my lids in some hot water, but you don't have to boil lids anymore. It's not a requirement. Now that I've got all my lids on, I'm going to put my rings on. And don't tell the canning police on me that, you know, I didn't fill and stuff them in the canner at one time, one at a time. You only want them finger tight, same as you would if you were using a regular pressure canner. And I don't have super strength in my hands because of my arthritis. So my finger tight seems to work really well. I'm just moving stuff out of the way so you guys get a better view of what I'm doing. You got to remember to put the water in the jar though. They don't can very well if you don't fill them. Once again, to just under the ring. Alright. And I don't have enough small rings today. So what I'm doing is Classico spaghetti sauce jars are actually mason jars. I won't use the lids by themselves to can, but I will use the lids like this with a regular canning lid and treat the lid as if it's my ring. Okay, so now that we've got all our jars filled and put in the canner, I'm going to put the lid on it. And the way you put the lid on here is, first thing is you want to take the regulator off, because the regulator doesn't stay on there. Yes, it sounds like I broke it. No, I didn't. You're going to put it in so these two marks match, and then you're going to turn it. And then you're going to turn, can you see the green? Right here, you're going to turn it, and you're going to lock it down. Then you're going to tell your canner that you have filled the jars. So you're going to click it, and it's going to say warm. It's going to take it about 20 minutes. It's going to warm the jars up, and then it's going to beep at you. So we'll be back in 20 minutes. Okay, now this is beeped, and now it says fill jars. We've already filled the jars. We made sure to go ahead and do that. So I'm just going to click on the next button. It's going to tell me it's going to vent for 10 minutes. We still don't want our regulator put on here, and we're going to let this vent for 10 minutes. See you in 10 minutes. Alright, now that it's beeping at us, you can read it. It says put the regulator on. And I am going to do just that. I'm supposed to do this with a pot holder on. My hands aren't going to do all that. And then you're going to turn it to can. And I'm short, so I need to move it very carefully. And I want to turn it to can. And then I'm going to push the next button, and it's going to start timing. Now beans take 75 minutes in pints, and this is going to can, pressure can, for 75 minutes, and it'll let me know when it's finished. We will be back. Okay, so now we're up to the easiest part of the whole process. It just beeped at me. When I came over here, it says cool. So you know what I'm going to do? Absolutely nothing. I'm going to let it sit here until it completely cools down, and it will beep 10 times to let me know that it's completely cooled. It'll take about an hour, so just be patient. Okay, so now the pressure canner has gone to done, and it says that it's finished. So the next step is to unlock the green lever and open it. And then you can turn the lid and always lift it away from your face so that you don't give yourself a facial, unless you happen to like that kind of thing. And all the jars in here are done. All I'm going to do now is lift them out, and without tilting them, or not more than I have to, I'm going to set them back here on the counter for them to cool. Give yourself a little space in between each jar. Notice that I am setting them on a towel. This actually happens to be a placemat. And you can see that the beans in the jars have expanded. They're still boiling hot, so you don't want to touch them with your hands. You definitely don't want to drop one and break it. But this canner holds 8 jars. And I'm setting them on the towel. Then I am going to put the rest of the towel up over it. Maybe move them a little bit closer together. But that's just to keep them from getting any air or air conditioning blowing on them so they don't cool down too quickly. And to turn the canner off, I'm just going to unplug it. Once it cools down, I will dump the water out and wash it. You're finished until tomorrow. Y'all have a great night, and thank you for watching.